Da li je Kina kapitalistička zemlja, da li je Kina imperijalna sila, da li je Kina totalitarni ili diktatorski sistem. O svemu ovome na moje ogromno zadovoljstvo i veliku čast razgovaram sa vama poznatim profesorom Tong Šiunom, rektorom NYU, Njujorškog univerziteta ili univerziteta u Njujorku, ali sa sedištem u Šangaju. Nisam ni sama sigurna koji je prevod. Pre nego što počnemo sa epizodom, zamolila bih vas da nas zapratite ovdje i na društvenim mrežama. Ovdje, ukoliko želite, možete da upalite dugmence za obaveštenja. Moje ime je Andreja Jovanović, a vi gledate podcast Lukavstvo uma. Hello, Professor Tong.
Hello.
Welcome to the Cunning of the Reason.
Pleasure.
It's your second time here, and it's my great privilege to talk to you again. In front of cameras, of course.
Yes.
We've been having our private conversation, but we will not reveal them for the time being. So last time you were here, we had a Marxist theme.
Yes.
In the first place, you are a philosopher and a Marxist.
Yes.
But today we agreed we shall talk about more concrete empirical reality.
Yes.
So and to let's how to say this correctly, use your position and knowledge you have and experience in your country.
Yes.
Both in academic and in political terms.
Yes.
So the topic of China and China influence in the world on the one hand, and China's internal development on the other is an important topic for Serbs. We've been following a lot, whether negatively or positively.
Yes.
So we agreed to try to answer to some of the main, let's be again correct, politically correct concerns people might have with what's been going on. Understanding, of course, things are not perfect and they never are.
Okay.
So maybe the first question I would like to ask you is an economic one.
Okay.
Whether if someone's coming from a Marxist perspective, but even if it's not the case, whatever perspective someone chooses, there is a thesis that Chinese society is not a socialist society, that it is some form of capitalism, maybe state capitalism. Some would even say it's techno-capitalism, like in the rest of the world, but with its own characteristics. Chinese political and economic stances, this is not true. We are a socialist, or at least we are trying to be a socialist society. So I would start there. What would you say that are the main things that you believe that make Chinese economy socialist?
I think last time probably if I remember correctly, my position, as always, would be capital, yes. Capitalism, no.
Yes, as you said the last time.
The reason why I said capital, yes, is from theoretical perspective, as I said last time, Marx would argue also for giving a certain role to play. I mean, for the capital to realize its civilizing tendencies, right? But capital, if left alone, will lead to its self-destruction, because it's too dynamic, and it is too, I should say, single linguistic. I mean, capital understands only one language, that is price, that is economic profits. But for a society to be healthy, to be relatively good for individuals, you need to pay attention to much more values than the economic values, of course. So that's why capital, yes, but capitalism, no. So when you talk about the Chinese economy, whether it is capitalist economy or socialist economy, I would say in China now, as you can read in the party's major documents, there is a sentence which would be difficult to find in even a capitalist countries. That is to give market is to be given a decisive role in allocating resources. That thesis was advocated several years ago, and it was repeated again and again. Market is to be given a decisive role in allocating resources. I think that's what Chinese government is doing, try to prepare to provide best conditions so that the market can function efficiently, fairly in allocating resources. And I think in that sense, you can call it capitalist or not. I think capital, of course, plays an important role. But as I said, capital, yes. Capitalism, no. I think that's also our official standard. Yeah, stance. Yes.
I think maybe I should have said this in introduction. China is an empirical situation that questions some of the pillars of traditional or orthodox Marxism. So if we think about Marxism in one manner, which I like to think about it, so not as a necessarily worldview or political goals, but also as what Marx taught it to be as well, critique of political economy.
Yes.
It also had a tendency to find out what is the distinctive characteristic of capitalist mode of production. So what is the part of capitalistic logic which will make any society, whatever their political goal is, in the end capitalistic. And it's interesting because in just what you said to me in this first answer, we mentioned control of capital, we mentioned markets, we didn't mention, but I would like to mention ownership or property. Those were mostly three things that we usually thought about. So capitalistic society has to be, has to have private property, private ownership of means of production. It has to have markets, world market, hopefully, and capital will, in the end, control everything because it is so powerful. If you think about capital as a subject of the history, while capitalism is the system. So China is probably currently problematizing all of the 3 points, right? Because if you only look at the property, let's first maybe talk about property. So it is still the Chinese economy is mostly I think about 2/3 of it.
In terms of percentage, most companies are privately owned, and most employees are now working in private-owned companies. As far as I know, I'm not an economist, but that's my impression.
And someone who belongs to Orthodox Marxism will be will have reasons to say, well, that is one of the proof that we cannot say that China is socialist. Simply, you have mostly privately owned companies. But the thing is, whether it is who gives you the property, what is property? I think it goes back to this maybe metaphysical questions. So what you can do with your property, and are there limits to private property? And I think that is what China is problematizing right now. So you might own something and function according even to market laws. We will go back to markets. And but still, if you do certain things for the profit and not for the maybe good of everyone, you will face consequences.
Yes and no. I mean, to be a good Marxist, I think you should also take care of the real situation of people's living standard, living conditions. I think from that perspective, at least, I mean, as I understand, we are doing what Marxism would like us to do. For example, when some people, people in some regions are much worse off than other people in other regions, then the government spend a lot of resources to help them. Not only to just to give them money, but to provide infrastructure so that they can support themselves better. And Marx would encourage individuals to be developed more holistically, to develop their capabilities, to realize their potentials strongly, and that's what I think the Chinese government is trying its best to do. And in order to do that, there should be some particular policies and measures which are better judged according to the standard of economic rationality, right? Then, as you said, probably judged from the position of orthodoxy Marxists, that would be problematic. Although workers in private-owned company can own much more than otherwise he or she could, but then he or she is working for the capitalist, for the capitalist factory owner, all these things. Yes, then I think maybe we should also think of the problem, not only the problem of the society, but also the problem of what is the so-called orthodox Marxism. Right? Yeah.
Our favorite question.
Yeah.
Also, as you mentioned, markets. So I think we have many residues from the 20th century, especially, let's say, here in the West, although I don't think Serbia is only Western country. So I still believe that we have new issues and trying to understand them using the 20th century terminology.
Yes.
Categories.
Yeah.
And so we have this dualistic point of view, which says you have market-led economy, a laissez-faire economy, and on the other side you had planned economy that failed, right? Mostly, not everywhere, but mostly. And then again you have China, who has markets, who has world markets, and also still has planned 5 years economy. So it's again some kind of dialectical synthesis of the two. So maybe a few words on that point.
A very important point. I don't know whether it's possible to translate the two Chinese terms differently in English or in Serbia. In China, we use the called 5年计划, 5-year plan. But now, from quite several years ago, we gave up the term 5年计划. We adopted the term 5年规划. 计划 is more strict, more regulatively, more strong. I mean, the regulative force is much stronger than 规划. 规划 is very much a kind of guiding, goals, but not necessarily imperative sufficiently. Okay. That's very important. It's a difficult to.
It's more flexible.
More flexible. So yeah, that's actually very interesting. 规划 versus 计划. 计划 is the old term. It's a command.
Okay.
计划 is like a command.
It's imperative. It has to be that way.
But the 规划 is a kind of a guidance.
It should be this way.
Yes, that's what we are doing. So we think 5-year plan is good tool for reaching consensus among different, sectors and the different levels, and also between the people and the government. And then in each of these 5-year plans, a largest part of the role is given to the market. And the market, as I said, is expected to play a decisive role. That's interesting. That's very interesting because, of course, for example, nowadays, in order to help university graduates, young people graduate from colleges to get jobs, right? The government advocate lots of promoting policies to help to encourage companies to employ as many young graduates, college graduates as possible. In that aspect, I don't think market is the only consideration. Only thing you would consider in allocate resources, right? But still, I think it's a matter of learning how to take advantage of the mechanism of market, even when the government is so anxious to promote some particular social policies.
So maybe, would you agree?
Yeah.
I would say then it's not necessarily control of the markets, but use of the markets, of the what markets are almost impeccable in, and if they go across some lines or some of its goals clash with the socialist goals, then you have control, then you have restraints. But to use it for socialistic goals.
Yeah, you can say so. Yeah, but you should, let the market to betray real situation of economy. Let the price tell you the real cost, real information. I think in that aspect, probably we have learned a lot. Also from Yugoslavia, from Hungary. Recently, I read some stuff about how Chinese economists, Chinese think tank people came to this region to learn from the experiences and the lessons in experimenting market economy. Or at that time, it's called market socialism, rather than socialist market economy, right? Yeah.
Marketing socialism.
So we are fortunate to have our friends in Yugoslavia, former Yugoslavia, in countries like Hungary, to actually do some preparation for our market economy reform,
But now it's your time to help back. Unlike Chinese people, here people in the Balkans, I'm not so sure we are good learners, honestly. But okay, so if we still in my head, I'm talking with abstract Marxism who is negatively towards China. So if that person would say, okay, I understand markets, I understand property ownership, I understand, but still there is an issue of capital.
Yes, sir.
Capital is, and through history has been, and usually is, overpowering, overwhelming power. It has its own laws, and sooner or later it will impose them. Whatever you try to do, it's simply stronger. And in the end, there are people, workers, who are being exploited. So you will have many critics of China who would say, of course, they have been technologically and economically successful in the last few decades, more and more, because they have been exploiting and extra exploiting their own people, their own workers. And how do you see that situation?
Actually, we have learned from European experiences as well. The development of welfare policies, development of labor protection legislations, all these things, we learn a lot from European countries. We have labor law to protect the rights of workers. Of course, some economists complain that probably China adopted labor law too early before the Chinese economy is developed strongly enough because
to support it,
to support. But anyway, the Chinese government did that and in favor of workers' rights. And generally speaking, I would say this part of the problem has already been considered even earlier than other people would expect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's go to the hot potato. So, as I told you in our private conversation, and I think it's quite obvious for at least for the people who know anything about our country, Serbian people really like geopolitics, and I think that is the sphere of social relations that they mostly pay attention to. There are many reasons. Psychoanalysis can explain them better, but I would say. That, of course, with everything happening in the world right now, and in the last few years especially, the topic of China in geopolitical terms is even more important for at least our nation, our country, than what we just talked about, which I think, me personally think it's more important, the economy, but okay. So, and one of the things that people would say today, from whichever reason, is China is also imperialistic country. It has its own form of imperialism. It's just fighting with the Western Bloc or USA or whatever you want to call it, or global North maybe, for the supremacy. And so it's not our friend. It's not our potential ally. BRICS Plus and other experiments are only a way to have the change of the sovereign of the worldwide nations. And that is, of course, completely, depending who you ask, but it is also can be seen as non-socialist thing. And I am quite sure you do not see yourself as imperialistic country. Yes, maybe that is my do you want to conquer us? Is that what you're planning?
I'm sorry to hear that, but it should be expected. I'm from Shanghai, right? Shanghai people would be easily regarded as to be too arrogant by people in other parts of the country, right? So it's only natural for people to have a process to understand and trust each other. So probably we need to speed up the process of mutual confidence building. But whether China is an imperialist country or not, the size of China, the size of Chinese economy is too big not to be suspected by other people. So it's only natural for us to bear, suspects or even complaining by other people. So we should learn how to face this kind of complaining. And I should pay more attention to our own, behavior, own attitudes. So that's first part I want to respond to your question. And the second part is that, inside China, some people complain that why should the Chinese government be so generous towards other countries or people in other countries when we at home need to solve many problems with more financial economic resources. So that's also something
It's inner critique, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
It's like
when
Trump
other people
voters.
complain that China explored them, but actually in China, within China, many people are complaining that why our government should be so generous towards other people. I'm not an economist, but I want to raise this question.
As well.
Yeah, as well. And then whether China, generally speaking, is an expansionist or imperialist country or not, I would refer to a recent study, which is very interesting, written by several American scholars. That their paper, quite a detailed study of what China really wants or what China actually doesn't want. The paper was originally published in the latest issue of a journal. I remember it's called International Security, something like that. And then a shortened version was published also recently on Foreign Affairs.
Okay, yeah.
The major point of that paper was that actually China's international claims, some of which are regarded as, imperialist or expansionist. Actually, almost all major international claims made by China are not new. They came from previous generation, even from previous dynasty. They use the term transdynastic claims. And they did empirical work. They did quite a comprehensive survey of the top leaders' speeches, publications by the government, by the party. Some people would say these are, just the propaganda. But then it's
never just propaganda.
Yeah, they dig into the curriculum of primary school and school, and the textbooks, and the contents are the same. Then they said, why should the government let their kids, young people, to know all these things? All these lies. I mean, why should the government? There's no need for government to do that. The only conclusion from these empirical research results, they argue that is that you should trust what they say. What China wants is exactly what they said. They do not want to invade other people. They do not want to get territory from other countries. Their major concerns are domestic concerns. So I would recommend to read that paper.
I will try to find it and link it in the description of the video.
Yes, very interesting.
But you reminded me to connect it to my next question, actually. If we take into consideration Chinese traditions and history, which is very important, and I think it's very important for Chinese people and socialist goals, right?
Yes.
For the party programs as well.
Yeah.
You have the history of being colonized, or at least many different tries throughout the recent history, throughout the last 200 years.
Humiliated.
Humiliated as well. You actually lost territory, didn't gain it.
Yes.
So it's very interesting to look at it from that perspective. And but let's say, at least in the moment when you, at least namely and formally, become socialist republic, a socialist society, there are people from the left that would actually say, why aren't you more imperialistic? At least, why didn't you took from the Russians, what they tried and usually failed to do, and that is export your socialism. Like, please do socialistically conquer us. So there is also that tide of opinion, let's just say. Yeah. But it is an interesting question. So in the mixture of two main pillars of your society, one being socialism and the other being your tradition and history, which sometimes come into agreement and sometimes might be tension between them. It seems that at least in the terms of imperialistic behavior, you didn't absorb the USSR type of understanding socialism.
That's one of the major causes why there are so many international misunderstandings. People just don't understand how is it possible for China not to be a hegemonic power when its economy grows so large, when its military force is so strong. I mean, that I would say, actually, I want to refer to Bertrand Russell, the British philosopher, visited China in 1920 and 1921. And he admired China, he praised China very much. And then he said that he expected China to be able to build a really new civilization, meaning not to be remembered as a conquering power, but to be seen as a nation anxious to learn, to excel others, not by means of violence, but by means of better way of learning, greater achievements of learning. In a sense, that's what we are doing. I mean, we of course we want to be better than our previous us. We want to gain more progresses than our neighbors. We want to achieve more scientific, economic, progresses than other countries. But that's totally different from country, exploiting our neighbors. And again, I want to refer you to a dialogue between Chairman Mao in 1956 with the Yugoslavia delegation. And it's easy to find.
Okay.
It's a quite long dialogue, long conversation. In that conversation, Chairman Mao said that China now is weak. We don't have a condition to be arrogant to, conquer other people. But I can promise you, now we have, with the establishment of the new China, we have prepared for suitable condition for much quicker, much greater development. Then he said that in 21st century, I expect China would be much greater, much stronger than now, than 1956. Chairman Mao said that, but I guarantee we will never be at hegemony. We will never, and he used quite a strong rhetoric to emphasize that. And then in his typically personal style, he said, if you comrades from Yugoslavia, by that time, find out that China deteriorated to be a hegemony force, you should struggle with us. You should wage a struggle against us.
Yes. Critique, yeah.
Yeah, you should criticize us. You should fight against us, because if we behave like that, we are wrong. You have sufficient reason to blame us. So that's actually Chairman Mao's remark, particularly when he was talking with the people from Yugoslavia, former Yugoslavia. And then I think he made these remarks in August or September of 1956. Then in November of the same year, he published a famous article on People's Daily in memory of Dr. Sun Yat-sen on the 90th anniversary of him. And a passage of that article was quoted again and again in each generations of top leadership in China, promising that we should be humble, we should never be a hegemony. For a country of that size, actually, in the past, we didn't make sufficient contribution to mankind, but we will be able to do that. But even by then, we should be humble, we should be modest, we should be friendly to other people. And that quotation was made again and again by each generations of top Chinese leaders. I can send you that.
Yes, please do, yes. And I can also link that as well, put it in the description.
Yes, and then in Chinese language, the term hegemony is always a bad term.
Yes.
Not like in English, hegemony is a neutral term, right?
Exactly, it can be good as well, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That point was also made by the paper I just mentioned.
Okay, Foreign Affairs paper.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
And that is important because, as we all know, words are never only words. No. They have the reality of their own, and they reflect and create realities.
Yes, yes.
But I would stay here just for one more moment, because as you might, I know you know, I was there. Some people from Serbia were asking you different questions about the different Chinese industries here. Yes, so let's say, obviously, you are not an economist. You don't have to know these things, but there are situations where people are here concerned with green politics and how industries have been working, especially in this town called Bor in Serbia, and as well with the working conditions of people here. I don't necessarily have a question. I have a commentary maybe, and you can follow if you want.
Yes, yes.
So for me, it seems that the Chinese companies, whether they are state-owned, privately owned, or a mixture, which usually is the case, when they come and make some type of bilateral, if that's how you say it in English, agreement with our government, continue to work according to those agreements, and sometimes probably ask for a certain degree of independency on how they will do things if they were to invest.
Yes,
because that's the other side of that. Either you will have a working mines or you won't. Westerners usually don't do that. They do that as well, but what they usually did in our country was, okay, you have to change your labor law. Like, let's not go from company to company. Let's not, and there have been many malversations as well in this sphere as well. So I won't even have to go there. So no, you wouldn't have it like that. You would have, we will change the way you are allowed to make strike in the factory. We will change your strike laws, as they did more than 10 years ago. We will have to change your laws on privatization. We will have to change your, especially labor laws. There have been many struggles. It was one of the mostly IMF conditions. But you would have German companies, and most of the foreign investment here is German, coming here with their great labor laws internally, and opening factories only if our labor law functions. I never once heard that, and maybe I'm mistaken here, that a Chinese country ever asked another country to change its legislature, and especially concerning economics. So there have been maybe, and there certainly are, some not ideal and maybe sometimes awful conditions in certain types or case studies within some factories. But here, this is true how imperialism works. Change your law, change your government, change it in principle. And then it doesn't really matter which company will come from the West or who's your government going to be. You're changing things structurally. So I think that is what is missing when people are trying to make equal, I'm sorry, yes, between Western imperialism and so-called Chinese. So this is how I see things.
Actually, I can give you. I don't know whether it's relevant. Anyway, I worked for NYU Shanghai, and NYU Shanghai rely on the local government to build our campus, right? And then NYU actually care very much about the public opinion towards how your campus is built. In a case in other countries, and the problem happened that local contract company was seen as violating rights of labor. And then the people in the United States, NGO, criticized NYU for tolerating this kind of practices. So they took lesson from this kind of a case. When our campus was being built, they paid much attention to the working condition of Chinese workers of Chinese company for our campus. But I can tell you that nothing bad happened. They were very satisfied with the whole process. Whole process. Yes. And that's actually in China. That's only normal. Yes, we didn't do special things with this part of the construction. Yes. That's now the general situation, I would say.
Yeah, but that's because you're a sovereign country. You can tell foreign companies that come to respect your laws.
Yeah, I mean, actually, the construction company is Chinese company
as well.
As well. So that's now the common situation. Every construction company need to follow some regulation with regard rights protection, ecological environmental protection. Yeah.
Let's go to the what we would say holy cow of the West, and that is democracy.
Yes.
So that is the I think last negative thing, and then we will go to the question of education. Many would say China is a dictatorship, or it's a totalitarian system, or it's a case of authoritarianism. If I said it correctly. So it doesn't matter if it is economically and technologically developed. It doesn't even matter what are the living conditions of most of the society when that society does not have liberal and democratic values and freedoms. So that is usually being used as the more, I would say, moralistic type of critique. I also have to say that things have been changing a lot in the last few years, because West is again in history showing its own face, considering some other questions that for the reasons of the YouTube being democratic, I cannot say aloud here. But as you all know, I would go there. So how do you see your political system, your governmentality, as Foucault might say?
I would say we are not perfect. no country is perfect. China is not the exception, and we are working on the problems. As I said yesterday in my speech, in each of the major documents of the party of the state, you will find a passage, not very short passage, listing our challenges, our weaknesses, our problems to be addressed, right? So I would say even in the field of economic, political decision-making, all these things, But then if you put your question in particular historical contexts, you can see you can make a comparison between the current situation and the previous situation, right? And you can see how people understand their rights and their role in the running of the managing governance of the society. Then you will see that the term democracy can be understood or misunderstood in many ways.
Of course.
So I would suggest those who criticize or blame China for being a dictatorship or being authoritarianism to visit China, to make friends with Chinese people, and to be a kind of observer or even participant observer of the life of Chinese people. Now, our two countries people visit each other without visa requirement for many days, right?
Yeah.
So I would expect more people will visit China from Serbia, and
we have direct flight, right?
Yes, and I would be willing to receive our Serbian friends to show them around the country, around the city particularly.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I should add several things. One thing is that a new term which was coined recently, that is called whole process democracy in China, meaning democracy is for people to express themselves freely, and for people to work together to address problems of common concern. And when a problem come up, you need to have a process to solve these problems. And in each stage of this process, it matters whether people can play any role or not. I think that's what has been China doing. And that's, theoretically speaking, it's a new approach in a sense. Another thing, I would just assign empirical evidence for people to judge whether or how Chinese people are living their public life. In each city of China, you have a telephone number 12345. Whenever you have a problem, you make a call. Use that telephone number to make a call, and your question, your problem will be written down in paper. And then they will arrange people to go to institutions of people to convey your opinion, what's the problem. And then it's officially required for you to be given answer.
Yes.
to be heard. I mean, the result, your case is accepted, and then this case will be brought to relevant institutions, and they will explain what's the situation, or they will solve your problem if that's if possible. And then some institution, I mean, will bring the result of the case to you to ask you to whether you are satisfied with the result or not, and then you should sign your name. That's the end of the case. If you say no, this case is not closed.
Okay, they have to find another solution.
Yes. So this is a practice to be adopted for quite several years. Actually, I remember there's a documentary.
Is it possible to call from Serbia? I'm just kidding. It's an easy number to remember. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Documentary, yes.
Yes.
You said about documentary?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, I mean, this kind of practices are being experimented and be adopted, and we are working towards a higher level of democracy. And then the term dictatorship.
Yeah.
You know, just like unlike hegemony. Hegemony is always a bad term in Chinese language, but not in English. But dictatorship, in Chinese context, we have two types of translation. It can be translated as 独裁. It can also be translated as 专政. 专政 is not a bad term. We described our political system as a people's democratic dictatorship.
Yes, quite Marxistic, right?
You know that, right? Okay. Which means that I think that's what we have from our past revolutionary.
Of course.
Yeah. The point is that right after the victory of the Chinese Revolution, even terms like rights, terms like rule of law were not adopted. Now we adopt it.
Yes.
So, and one by one, we have criminal law, civil law, procedure law, all these things. So we are moving in that direction.
But also transforming them within socialist paradigm.
Yes.
I would again stay just a little bit longer this. I was thinking, so you gave a lecture yesterday in Belgrade. Also, your colleagues, some other colleagues gave and will give lectures in the time we're filming this. There was a lot of mentioning not of the word dictatorship as much as the word leadership.
Yes.
As leadership being very important for the political system of China. And also, it is. It seems to me that is also a word that has been mentioned a lot in the Western part of the world as well, but more in the terms of crisis of leadership.
Yes.
So you would see many different Western nations and countries being worried that they are missing leaders, that they have some type of leadership crisis. Some of them see that is a good thing, some of them see it as a bad thing. And if we go back to Marx and trying to see how he understood political system of capitalist societies, not only economic. It may seem only natural for this development because capitalism does not need strong leaders. It needs character masks, as he would say, and he did say in Capital. So it doesn't really matter who is doing, but what is being done. And as much as the capital is becoming more and more successful, the less and less is important who the individual or the group of people is who are leading something. They have to behave in accordance to the economic laws. And but when you talked about China yesterday and your colleague today, when you talked about leadership, they were mentioning of the things that the success of some project, whether it is connected to schools or to infrastructure or building, or it can be very much dependent on who is in charge. So something can be more or less successful depending on the personality, even the individual personality. And some would say it is the proof of dictatorship or whatever, but I would say that if we think about democracy in the terms before modern democracy in the West, it is precisely personal power of people that can be a weapon against automatic system of capitalism. So if you have a society where human beings are still being asked and responsible for what they are doing, maybe you have a bit more freedom and not less freedom. These are my metaphysical thoughts right now. but yeah, it is where my mind went, where you were talking about leadership.
Yeah, yes, I am. It's a very interesting topic. I have many things to say. For one thing, even you mentioned capitalism and the leadership. Actually, there is a word called a management revolution, something like that.
Yes,
meaning managers become more important in post-industrial societies, right?
Right.
And property ownership actually is less and less important because CEOs actually made essential crucial decisions in many cases. So that's one thing. Another thing is that yes, China pays. Within Chinese system, quite a lot of attention is paid to selecting and supervising and managing, leadership at different levels. And I would say one secret of the success of China's approach, if at all, was that high-ranking officials are so carefully chosen and trained, or being provided chances to learn, to be tested, that it's impossible for a person who has no leadership experience could be suddenly promoted to the president or prime minister position or president position. That was totally impossible in China. And then in China, leaders of one region could be appointed to another region, just according to the consideration of the of the central government. That helps to avoid regionalism, conflict between regional interests.
Which is so important because China is so big.
Yeah, actually, it's very important. And then in Chinese tradition, really, personalities, virtues are important. I would say in China, the relationship between teachers and pupils is more important than probably in other cultures. You need, officials are expected to behave like a teacher. You should not suppress. You should not order your pupils. People just with power. You should convince them. You should persuade them, or you should set example for them, right? So that's part of our tradition. But then I want to add one thing. That is because. We are now, as I said, we are anxious to learn from the West. So, institution building, legal development has been essential part of our reform project. So, in we have more and more strict or more and more comprehensive regulations of governance of management. But there is a side effect, a negative side effect of this development. That is, people tend to have less personal agency, less personal responsibility. The bureaucracy can be a new type of a bureaucracy. I mean,
yes,
yeah, just let the system to run or to
what has happened in the EU. Actually, I would say that is precisely what's happening in the EU.
Yeah. So that's actually our danger also. Yeah, we should be careful of this kind of tendency as well.
Our conversation naturally led us to this last question, last topic, and that is the topic of education. You mentioned a few times now.
Yes.
Learning tendencies and goals. Yeah. China has been throughout centuries culture of knowledge.
Yes.
Culture where knowledge is being deeply valued.
Yes.
So maybe what would you add to what you have said already on this?
We have a tradition of cherishing learning, appreciating learning, but we need to be more innovative, more courageous in our learning. And then, of course, we also need to pay more attention to other people's reaction or their responses. It's not enough for you to be willing to help others. You should pay attention to other people, whether they really want you to help or in what way to help. That's also something we need to learn more in the future.
Thank you, Professor, for the conversation. I am very happy whenever we talk, and I'm very happy that you came again here. And I hope to see you again also in the Canning and outside of it. Yes.
Thank you again for this very special opportunity of learning on my side.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We are both, at least Chinese and Serbian people, are thankful people. I think that that is one of our similarities, the good similarities. I will now continue in Serbian just to finish the show. Thank you. Hvala vam na pažnji. Gledamo se sledeće nedelje u istom terminu. Završila bih, pošto je gospodin, ne bi se svidao, drug Mao Tse-tung pomenut više puta danas, reći ću katastrofa pod kapom nebeskom, situacija odlična. Prijetno vam.